Sirpugger split Gielinor into 10 different regions from the Twisted Leagues and set everyone a challenge. Whoever could make the most money from scratch in each different area would win 100 million GP. Now the only rules in the area is you couldn't start with any items except a Ring of Wealth, as you did have access to the GE, so you could buy and sell items from there, but you can't use it as a money maker, and you can only make money in the one area at a time. To do this challenge, he gave just 1 week, meaning it wouldn't be possible to put an entry in for every single area, as it would take too long. So the first thing I had to do was rule out some areas. The first area I ruled out was Mauritania, an area I absolutely love. So many different combat money makers, but unfortunately the meta in that one was always going to be a bloodshard. If anyone decided to pickpocket a bloodshard, spend a day or two doing that, they were guaranteed to win that area, or at least face off with anyone else that done the same. The Wilderness had a 1 billion challenge not so long ago where people took Amulet of Glories and charged them until they finally got an Eternal Glory. Again, that takes days to do, so that meant I couldn't possibly have the time to do the Wilderness and do a lot of other regions. So again, for that reason, we ruled that one out. The next area I ruled out was the Elflands for a very similar reason to Mauritania, and that's because anyone that went there and decided to steal the Eternal Teleport Crystal was pretty much going to win that region or be in a face-off to do it with anyone that done the same one, and again they're going to have to spend days doing that. The last region I ruled out was Kandarin, and that is because the Zenite Shard was completely the meta here. It was very obvious this was the only good money maker, and then it was just about luck with the other drops, because once you're at the Demonic Gorillas, you were going to stay there, so it was more about RNG in this area, and that was not something that I wanted to do. So the first area I hit up was Asgardia, and I decided to start off by pickpocketing guards just as some easy GP to get a little bit of money to then buy some other items. I headed over to the farm patch just south of Falador, where you can buy different farming equipment. The one at the time that was doing well in a GE was the spade, so I bought 150 spades with that little GP I've just made, and they all sold for 20k. With that 20k, I was able to buy a very, very cheap God Wars dungeon setup. If you don't know, you can buy a Monk's Robe bottom and a Zami top and stay to the east side of the God Wars dungeon and you are perfectly safe. When in the God Wars dungeon, I then decided to kill mainly the spiritual mages for the Dragon Boots drop, but also a lot of other good items. They're quite a good money maker on their own. And with only 22 minutes gone, I did get a Dragon Boot drop, which is massive, giving me a lot of money to work with for the next place I wanted to go to. And then bought a very, very budget setup to go to Cerberus, and when I say budget, I really mean budget. Black D-hide throughout, snakeskin boots, a coif, as well as a rune crossbow and some bro bolts, and then some food and potions. And I stayed here getting 2 to 3 kills each trip. And with 21 minutes on the clock, I have got one of the rarest items you can get, a Jar of Souls, which is a 1 in 2,000 drop, but unfortunately not one of the crystals I was looking for. Primordial Crystal would obviously have won me the challenge guaranteed. Smouldering Stone 5 million would probably win me the challenge, and an Eternal Crystal 1.4 million had a decent chance of winning the challenge as well. Between all of them, there was a 1 in 128 chance. Unfortunately, I just got unlucky because I did have at least 128 kills trying this method, but it just wasn't to be. Unfortunately, I did not get the RNG needed in this area, making only 196k. And the winner, frustratingly, only tanned green D-hides, made himself 839k, winning the challenge, and meaning that had I got any one of those 3 crystals, I would have won quite comfortably, but unfortunately, not meant to be. But still 5 regions left to challenge in. The next area I decided to go to was the Framnic area. Over there you can kick the Ice Troll runt and then the Framnic warriors will do the rest of the damage for you, meaning you get the drop even if you only do a little bit of the damage. So I done a little bit of damage on these, waited for them to die, and then picked up the loot until eventually I got 7 raw sharks, just enough for what I need to do for the next money maker. So I headed to the GE, sold them on the GE, got myself 6k, and then headed over to the shop where you can buy the wool. It's right by a chest where you can bank, so you can buy these rapidly quick. I kept buying these out and banking them until I'd spent all 6k just on balls of wool. That gave me over 2,000 of these, and after I sold those items on the GE, that 6k's worth of wool turned into 138k. That gave me plenty of money to get a very budget setup to go over to the Framnic Isles, claim my pet rock, and then head over to Waterbirth, quickly run through the Waterbirth dungeon, and then head towards the Dagonoth Kings. Thankfully, got very lucky. It didn't take too long at all to get down the ladder without them being too close. And on my very first kill, I got the Berserker ring, which weirdly gave me a problem. Do I stay? Do I go and get a setup to kill all the Dagonoth Kings? Because it would have took 5-10 minutes, I decided to stay, and unfortunately did not get anything else but just the bones alone, and the drops made me some extra money. So I went over, sold them all on the GE, made a total of just over 2 million GP in this area. Fantastic target, one I was very, very confident of, and thankfully I did win that challenge, beating the next person who got 901k by over 1 million GP for that area and taking the win. However, those two regions had taken up quite a lot of my time, so the next area I decided to do was just one run, no other runs, nothing else, just one money maker in Mistland. And if it wasn't good enough, so be it. So I started off in the ham rooms, just hoping for one ham item, one ham piece of clothing, normally worth a few K. Didn't get it, but did get an inventory of different things that I could sell for a relatively small amount, but enough for what I needed just to start off with. I then headed over to the ham chest in Lumbridge Basement, where I proceeded to buy out the items that were currently doing well on the GE. That was the cheese, pizza bases, pots of flour, cream and butter, and I proceeded to keep buying them until I eventually ran out of money. After I'd done the first run, running out of the 1.2k I started with, I then took them all to the GE, and in just 2 minutes changed that 1.2k into 14k and headed back to the chest. After another 10 minutes of doing the same method, I then turned that cash into 114k, before finishing off with over 8,000 items bought from them chests, sold them all on the GE, making 495k. Unfortunately, what I thought may happen did happen, and someone went to the Abbey Demons through the Abyss, which was available in this region, and got a whip. And the winner ended up with 2.5 million in that area, completely smashing my 495k out of the park. With time running out and just 2 days left, the next region I decided to go for was Zaya. I started off pickpocketing the guards over there just for a little bit of starting GP, before finally heading over to a PvP world, buying the items from the shop here. The raw fish sells for almost 5 times as much on the GE. Once I had as much fish as I could afford, I then sold them on the G, and then bought myself an unbelievably basic setup. I am talking power army and some mithril darts, and that is it. I then went over to Dust Devils and started safe spotting them until I finally made some money there. Even with mithril darts, these were a good money maker, and in just over 10 minutes, I got quite unlucky this run, but I still made 40k, plenty of money to get a very basic melee setup. Just mithril armor throughout, a superset and a ruined simi. Went over to Abbey Demons and just flicked prayer over there, killing as many as I possibly could. After half the time has gone, I then went back, sold the items I'd earned, and got myself a slightly better setup. Sometimes I was able to upgrade to a dragon scimitar, sometimes I wasn't. Wasn't having much luck during these runs whatsoever until finally the best sight in the world, an Abbey whiff came in, 2.25 million on the floor, only 6 minutes left in this run. Absolutely fantastic. I was always very conscious that someone else might do the same one and then beat me just on RNG, so I went to Necreals just to get a little bit better drops for the last 5 minutes, sold everything on the GE and made 2.381 million for this run. With second place coming in at 1.57 million, who was actually really unlucky because he'd done some alchemical hydra kills and didn't get either of the two rare expensive items. So really good run from him, but just pipped him on that one. And on the day that these had to be submitted, I had 2 regions left that I still wanted to do, but only 8 hours left to do them in. So I decided to go over to Karamja and just try to put anything on there that was competitive. I started off picking red spider eggs for that very important starting cash that you need for any of these challenges, as you've seen on the other ones. I then took them over to the GE and tried to buy a jade machete. Unfortunately, was not selling. I had to buy a very basic one and an adamant scimitar. I then went over to the cleanup and to cut the jungle in the hopes of finding a gout tuber, which we're currently selling at over 900k each. So I knew gout tubers were going to be the meta for this area, and ideally I would have spent a long time here just doing the run over and over until I got multiple of them in one run and got lucky with the RNG here, but that wasn't possible with only a limited time left. So I decided as soon as I got one gout tuber that I was going to go over to another money maker in the hope that no one got more than one doing this run. So I decided to sell all my items, buy some gear, head over to Steel Dragons. There was always the outside chance of a Visage, but mainly just to make a little bit of money with the Dragon Bones and the drops. maybe even get a dragon scare, dragon plate, like something like that. That meant anyone that went there, they had to get more than one to beat my total, and that was my plan for this area. I didn't get lucky at all at the dragons, but that's okay. I had done what I wanted to do, which was to get a Gautuber, then make more money than just one Gautuber, and if anyone wanted to beat me, they had to get multiple, and unfortunately they did. Not only did they get multiple, they got 4 in this region, which I'm kind of glad I didn't spend too long here, because that's some serious RNG. That would have taken me a very, very long time to try to beat, so kind of glad in another way. That left just one region left that I wanted to do, and only a few hours left to do it. So I headed over to the last area, which was the desert, and the way to win this was always going to be the scepter. And you can only get them from the sarcophagus and the chest, so I had to go through just thieving those in each different room. It would take a couple of minutes to go through all the different rooms, and then if I didn't get it, come out and try again. So this was going to take quite a lot of time, and I had to be really lucky. And on just my 3rd attempt through, I got it. Would you believe it? If you look, I didn't even know what to do. I kind of thought, I wasn't expecting it. I headed over to the GE, sold it, and I'd already worked out the next 2 best money makers that I could see were either just to go to the pyramid or to go to Dust Devils. And I thought Dust Devils were better money, so that's what I decided to do. Little did I know someone else also got a scepter at this point, and they decided to go to the agility pyramid. The biggest risk with what I did was I had to buy a whip and then sell it, and how much money am I going to lose doing that, because I don't have time to sell it for the full amount. So huge gamble doing this, but I thought it was the best money. And after killing them for the remaining time, I made 349k. But how much would I lose buying and selling that whip, and how much would he make at the agility pyramid? I made a total of 2.96 million, with the person going the agility pyramid making 2.81 million, making me the winner of 3 regions in total. Fantastic. Was absolutely made up that I'd managed to win 3 of these challenges. Extremely lucky on that last one. Big shout out to Sirpugger. If you don't do these challenges, he does a challenge every couple of weeks where the prize money is 1 billion GP every time. Sometimes it's for the winner, sometimes it's split out like this one was. It's fantastic. Get involved. Loads of money. Great to take part. And Sirpugger himself, what a guy. He's got hundreds and thousands of views. He got millions of views every video, and he still takes out the time to reply to people, answer questions. And he messaged myself a number of times with this challenge. What a genuine nice guy he is. If you did like the video, please hit a like. It really helps me out a lot. And if you want to subscribe, I have loads of different videos. I will be taking part in the next challenge, which is going to be out in a few weeks, and I will be posting that as well. See how we do in that one. Thanks again for watching.